Hello and welcome to Friend of the Court, a podcast series that explores groundbreaking constitutional cases in India's judicial history. I'm your host, Raghu Karnad. All landmark cases are entangled in their political and social settings. Urgent questions are often translated into legal and constitutional grammar by members of the bar. This podcast examines the role of lawyers, judges, and legal institutions, the hows and the whys, in what we call constitutionalizing. This is part of a legal history project undertaken by the School of Law, Governance and Citizenship at Ambedkar University, Delhi, in partnership with the Anil Divan Foundation.
Hello and welcome to this very special interview. Joining me today is the doyen of the Indian legal fraternity, Anil Divan, constitutional lawyer, senior advocate at the Supreme Court, and one of India's best legal minds.
In this season, we're diving into some of the most pivotal cases in Anil Divan's career, which spanned over 6 decades, beginning in the 1950s and going right up to his demise in 2017. He was a part of many crucial legal battles and watershed moments of Indian history. At a celebration to mark 50 years of his practice at the bar, Divan remarked on the role of lawyers in shaping society.
And today, a lawyer can give much more to society because of the useful and creative role which he can play on many issues in public interest litigation. But the case I remember most is the Jain Hawala case, Vineet Narayan versus Union of India.
आडवाणी साहब के ऊपर खुद मुकदमा चल रहा था. चार्जेस फ्रेम करने के बाद
या बात करें जैन हवाला केस की,
जैन हवाला केस की, और एल.के. आडवाणी ने रिजाइन कर दिया था पार्लियामेंट से.
The Jain Hawala case, the first major corruption public interest litigation the Supreme Court heard. His role as counsel forever changed how it dealt with administrative corruption.
The Cauvery River Water Dispute has taken an ugly turn as protesters in Karnataka's Mandya district vandalized the PWD office and raised slogans against Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha on Tuesday.
The Cauvery dispute will once again be heard by the Supreme Court just weeks after it delivered its final verdict on the decades-old water war.
The Cauvery Water Dispute case, where Mr. Divan represented the state of Karnataka for decades in its water dispute with Tamil Nadu over the river Cauvery.
On the one hand, the government has listed out several drawbacks of the collegium system, while on the other, the Supreme Court is wary of any move that it could undermine the collegium system. The question arises then as to who should then appoint the judges.
And finally, the National Judicial Appointments Commission case, or NJAC, in which Mr. Divan increasingly took interest in the independence of the judiciary. He resisted the interference of the government in appointing judges and led the petition against the government. And this resulted in the court eventually striking down the NJAC. Anil Divan had an illustrious record of fighting for public causes through which he developed public law. Divan is also remembered for his contributions to the law outside the courtrooms, especially in his role as the president of the Bar Association of India and Law Asia, an association of lawyers, judges, and jurists advocating for interests and concerns of the Asia-Pacific legal profession. He was also a member of the Committee on Judicial Accountability. The legal bar's history, practices, techniques, knowledge, and networks can be unpacked through Mr. Divan's own life history. And this is especially true of his contributions as amicus curiae, or friend of the court, in numerous public interest cases. He was a natural in this role, bringing to it his creativity and fearlessness in addressing some of the most trying constitutional problems India has witnessed. On this show, we're going to take you through a wealth of primary documents and notes on cases from Mr. Divan's files, along with research and interviews with lawyers, petitioners, and journalists involved in the case both inside and outside the courts. Our hope is that through Mr. Divan's work, you get to see how legal battles are fought in the Supreme Court to help forge political change. This is Friend of the Court. Tune in next week as we begin with dissecting the Jain Hawala case. For now, we leave you with a few words from Anil Divan.
Nani Palkewala strikes an optimistic note when he writes, and I quote, "In the affairs of nations, as in the business of the elements, winds shift, tides ebb and flow, the boat rocks. Luckily, we have let the anchor hold. We have survived as a united democracy, a historic achievement," unquote. The anchor, in my view, has been our constitution and constitutional values.